I'm Vusumuzi Mkhize, the Director General in the Department of Arts and Culture, and our commitment knows no bounds in working collectively with roadies in South Africa, but most importantly with the Labs Events Technical Production partners. Allow me to extend my warmest greetings to all of you gathered here today, and a very hearty welcome to our guests from other countries of the continent and those from the globe above and beyond our seas. It is an honor to stand here before you on this great occasion of the fourth edition of Event Technical and Production Conference. The Department of Arts and Culture is proud to be associated with the development of LETPC, if I may just use that as an abbreviation, an association that has spanned over a period of 4 years since its inception in 2019. In this regard, I would like to acknowledge the commitment that has been demonstrated by LETPC and all stakeholders who have continuously participated in and supported this event. Over a period of 4 years, the department has observed the growth from strength to strength, where in the first session, an edition of this, the attendance was just about 80 key stakeholders and participants. However, this has grown to a level where we talk about almost 150 participants. The numbers of the sector leaders and practitioners coming from other countries in Africa and globally who have attended the conference has been highly impressive, particularly on the skills and the knowledge that they bring into this conference. The latter is indeed an indication of the importance of the technical production as well as live events. And this industry has to be recognized and to find its rightful place, not just in the art heritage sector, but most importantly, to be able to stand alone as a key driver and as a bedrock of arts and culture. I will explain to you why I'm saying and using the word bedrock for most of what we do in arts, culture, and heritage. Why technical events and live events are so important. The Department of Arts and Culture wishes to congratulate the LETPC as well as South African Roadies Association for ensuring that this event is held every year without fail. It is further, we extend our gratitude to all presenters who have been gracing this conference without fail. This for both local as well as continental and international guests who come here to share their knowledge in the interest of contributing to the development of the industry. The latter also goes to all industry stakeholders who have provided strategic support, provided equipment, and a range of other contributions. The industry practitioners who attend annually have contributed meaningfully to the number of discussions that have been held, the debates, and most importantly, the depth of knowledge that they have brought, and therefore then cross-pollinating with the rest of their counterparts in South Africa and in the continent. We continuously draw inspiration in this conference, for it sets us apart from the rest in our commitment to ensure that the skills and the training and the dynamism of this particular industry section really contributes to the economy and the growth of our own society. The above dynamics show that the sector heeded the call by our minister who was here, Minister Nathi Mthethwa, in his keynote address at the inaugural event in 2015. I may quote what he said. He said, "Let it be said in every simple yet clear terms that the technical and production sector, together with its partners in skills development and training, and international market leaders in their variety, hold in their hands the power to abolish all underdevelopment and stagnation in their sector. As former President Nelson Mandela said, the power is in your hands, I close quote. However, the Minister Mthetho also further stated that you are here to take your future into your own hands. We are here to lend the necessary support. The latter set the tone for the unique partnership between the department and live events industry sector. Partnerships, in our view, as I was asked to talk about this area, is that the support and partnerships that has been given by various stakeholders towards hosting this event successfully, and this conference in particular, over the past 4 years, illustrates the unique element of social cohesion and working together. The ability to share skills without reservation, the ability to cross-pollinate in terms of knowledge, as well as the resources. The partnership is essential, and the department has observed other areas that are unique to it, in that the sector engages in such events as Technical and Production Services Forum, which was set up by the Department of Trade and Industry for the development of an industry transformation plan sector. Transformation is not something that we can pay lip service to. If you want to break the barriers of access, to break the ceiling of those who have been excluded in the past, this sector has a crucial role to play. It is currently dominated by a few role players, industry players, and that stranglehold has to be dismantled and make sure that there is mass participation in this sector. The forum was in partnership that brought together key leaders and practitioners from various industry associations with a wide range of network and membership of practitioners and government. Government and private sector has to work together. If we do not do that, we are doomed to let down this industry sector quite badly. And that is not what we want. And therefore then, together working commonly, we can mention and appreciate the following partners that have continued to be part to this process and to this conference. South African Roadies Association in the training of the youth, something that they have done delicately, particularly for the privileged disadvantaged youth. These are the young people that Africa and South Africa in particular have pinned their hope on. And without them being trained and having skills that Roadies in South Africa is providing, we are doomed to have a sector that continues to perpetuate inequality and to perpetuate poverty and allow that the youth becomes a hopeless youth, both in Africa as well as in South Africa. Africa is a young generation, and this sector requires the youth that is highly empowered and participates effectively in the economy of their countries and of South Africa in particular. Internal Festival Exhibition Association with 50 individuals, Exhibitions and Events Association of South Africa with 109 corporates represented, South African Communication Industry Association, SAIC, as well as Department of Trade and Industry, and our own department. These partners continue to work together in this particular forum, and we are hoping that the transformation plan will not be a paper-based lip service exercise, but that it will find a key expression in its implementation plan. The partnerships are fundamental in that the department encourages and supports as they contribute to effective development. In the fourth edition of the LETPC, numerous issues have been raised, and at the core of this has been the issue of slow transformation in the sector, fragmented skills development and training interventions that sometimes suffer adhorency and unpredictability, safety and challenges to market access for emerging initiatives, just to name a few challenges. The question is, what does this conference plan to do to make sure that yesterday is not repeated in terms of stagnation, in terms of skills development, and that we transform our societies in our respective countries using this sector called arts, culture, and the creative sector in particular. Parallel to this, it has also been observed that the live events technical production services industry is a unique environment for small business, enterprise, as well as entrepreneurship. The time when people are asking for employment opportunities is over. The question is, what are we doing to create entrepreneurial opportunities? Because if you give me fish, I will eat, as they say, only for that day. But if you teach me how to fish, I have an ability to live and sustain myself. This conference must assist us to teach our people how to fish, not to give them handouts, because that can only be a matter of a day, and I come back again tomorrow with a begging bowl. We cannot afford, with the caliber of people we have here, with the experience that is in this room, that then we continue to say, wait for the event to happen. You will be appointed for you to stage. But we need to say to them, how entrepreneurially can you apply your skills to advance the economy of your country, to advance the skills of your young people? Because this sector in particular employs a lot of young people compared to any other sector. It contributes significantly to the GDP, and therefore then it's important that all the work you're gonna do and discuss in this conference is also based on sound research, so that we've got systemic interventions when we go beyond the conference itself. I am saying the issue of research is critical because informed scientific interventions are lasting solutions. Therefore, the Department of Arts and Culture commissioned, as well as other research conducted in this industry, have been of valuable insight. Some of the findings from these studies state that there is generally poor policy integration, there is lack of compliance monitoring, there is fragmentation across supplier and buyer industry bodies. Human resource development remains one of the most significant challenges confronting growth and success of the sector, including that gaps in the understanding of the skills needs exist. Now, with that research outcome and those findings, it's clear that then you may be able to come up with concrete interventions that will provide lasting solutions. Economic value, to just mention a few because of time, I just want to indicate that the creative sector contributes not just in South Africa, but generally in the world and globally, if you look at research, significantly to the growth domestic product of these countries. Just to mention a few of these figures, the 2015 Ernst & Young report, First Global Survey, quantifying the global economic and social contribution in the industries, found that revenue generated from the cultural and creative industries accounts for 3% of the world's GDP, at a total of $2.250 billion. It created 29.5 million jobs worldwide. That's the significance of the creative sector, culture and creative industry sector, just on the GDP, looking at the world in general. But coming home, even closer, South Africa is aligned with this trend. In 2014, according to an early mapping studies, South Africa's creative economy contributed about 90.5 billion rands to the national economy, translated loosely to 2.9% of the South African GDP, exceeding the contribution even that of agriculture, which was at 1.2% at the time. So the department's national mapping study of 2014 outlined the annual turnover of the cultural and creative industry, the domains relevant to the live events, technical and production service, outlined the following statistics that I think to share with you will be important. Performance and celebration domain alone contributed just above 12 billion rands on an annual turnover. The audiovisual and interactive media above 12 billion rands, the design and creative sector above 62 billion rands annual turnovers. Now, if we look at that, it means we cannot fail to make sure that this conference is able to assist us to achieve more than we have, to make this sector contribute more in the economy and in the employment and the entrepreneurial fields as much as it can. How do we break the barrier of less than 3% and say we are taking our rightful place in our economies for everybody to take us seriously? However, as I indicated earlier, the issue of transformation remains a challenge in this sector. And I must say that that is the area I hope this conference will help us to address. South Africa comes from a painful past, the past of systemic government-driven exclusion policies. This sector was not left untouched. And this still continues to be a challenge. A number of efforts made by people such as South African Roadies Association have made a dent, but without deliberate support, they will not be able to make a bigger impact. Without partnerships with people of your caliber and your experience, they will not be able to make and realize the vision they have to transform this sector. They are not working alone, they are working with all of us. And as government, we are committed to continue to support this program of transformation. Some data talking to this issue of perpetual lack of transformation is shown in the following. 46% of entities in the organizer subsector indicated black ownership, with black ownership at an average of 58.4%. Less than a third indicated black female ownership. So it's still a male-dominated area. 28% of entities in this services subsector indicated black ownership, with less than 1/5 indicating female ownership. So transformation is one of the critical objectives we have in the Department of Arts and Culture. And that is why the issue of the white paper is so urgent, the revised white paper. And we are working together to make sure that the revised white paper is finalized as soon as possible. We are hoping that after all the years that it's been developed, refined, that this year we will finally have the revised white paper as law in this country. And it will address, in particular, this issue of transformation. And I'm glad that Professor is here, Professor Oliphant, who is our convener of the panel that is dealing with it. In the light of the above, and as request championed by SARA, the department has considered the representation of the live events and technical and production services in the process of revising the white paper on arts, culture, and heritage of 1996. This will provide an overarching framework both for government and the industry from which they develop achievable, practical, and sustainable development interventions. I am pleased to say that the sector has come on board to participate and contribute vigorously to this process. As government, we are encouraged. The sector has raised a number of concerns, and to ensure that the process incorporates their inputs to find expression in the white paper. And even today, I'm sure with the engagement with Professor Oliphant, more and more will be guiding us on what to refine on the paper. Finally, the training for the youth. I'm selecting the youth in particular because young people are the future. They respond powerfully to the technology, and this sector is technologically driven. And it is important that our youth are given an opportunity not to be the future employees, but to be the future conglomerate owners. We can do that with you if we focus on training and skills development. As such, the training through our Mzansi Golden Economy hopes to provide strategic support to this area in the area of arts, culture, and heritage. When looking into the aspect of the department, realizing that this sector has very little data or research in this area, we have partnerships with our own research arm, SACO, South African Cultural Observatory, who are providing us with pointers on areas of emphasis for skills development in order to change the industry landscape. The study serves as a foundation from which further interventions can be implemented. Program Director, I just wanted to mention as my parting shot the following. What does this conference seek to achieve? Concretely, we can't be gathering all the time and we come back, we don't reflect. What did we agree to do? How far we have progressed? We are fortunate that we've got experts internationally. I think that review is critical. And based on that, the question will be, what did we do well and what we did not do well? What could be the root causes of having these obstacles that remain to transform this sector? So the objectives of the conference are quite clear, but the commitment and the will to make things happen is what we require. Therefore, as a department, looking at the issue of live events area and the technical skills that we require, the backstage skills that we require, I had to simplify in my understanding what exactly is this thing all about. Then I realized that when I am saying I'm going to a festival, can there be a festival of music without this sector of the industry? It's just not possible. If I say I'm going to a film, to a movie, without the backstage, without the sound effects, without the lightning that we sometimes, the bolt of thunder we see, we hear, can that happen without this area of the sector? When I'm an author and a writer, and I want this to be transformed to a play, one of the key things I ask myself, how will I reach my audience if I don't use the skills of the backstage, of the technical events specialists? In other words, you are the bedrock of the creative and cultural industry. Therefore, we need to do more to reposition this sector and make sure that it takes its rightful place, not by accident, but by our deliberate efforts and interventions. And this conference must help us identify those areas. So in conclusion, I would like to wish you all the best in your discussions, and I hope you will have positive and robust, vibrant engagement and find meaningful way forward. And that when we come back again and we meet, we will reflect and say, we've made a difference.